What's going on, everybody? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. I hope everybody's doing well, and we got a bunch of news to dive into in today's video. So apologies if there is a lot of echo in the background noise. I'm cleaning out the office. I got a million things going on, but I'll try to be brief. So my fiance moved to the States for work. I'm going to be splitting my time between there and here. So right now I gotta take apart my PC over the next few weeks, get a shipping container, cleaning up the property, all types of stuff. But anyways, let's dive into today's video. Let me turn on my little highlighter here so we can see my cursor. So we have the Canary XRP ETF or spot ETF live. So this is absolutely great news. We have Canary Capital launching the first regulated spot XRP ETF in the United States. So this ticker is XRPC. Now, I know if we go to the block and look at the XRP tracker and then sort by type to look at the spot ETFs, we did have this Rex Osprey one. But in my opinion, not financial advice, the XRPC or the Canary Capital XRP ETF shares is one of the only true spot XRP ETFs available in the market today and trading on the NASDAQ. So this is the live, legitimate spot XRP ETF listed on the NASDAQ. So this has the real charts, the real candles, the bids and asks and spreads and daily volume. We can see right here, shared by Status, for the first day trading volume for XRPC, we had $58 million. And the same thing was said by Eric Balchunas, who is the senior ETF analyst over at Bloomberg. So we can see XRPC, $58 million in day one volume. And this is the most of any ETF launched this year out of 900, barely edging out BSOL's $57 million. So I know the market hasn't been necessarily fun since Bitcoin last topped out around 126,000 and is under 100K today, as Bitcoin dominance is between 59 to 60%. But this is really good news for the crypto space, having the first legitimate spot XRP ETF in the United States. And this is the same type of structure for this XRP spot ETF as the existing ones for Ethereum and Bitcoin, so every share that gets bought is forcing the trust to buy more XRP on the open market. So I'm definitely keeping tabs on these other issuers like Grayscale, Wisdom Tree, CoinShares, 21 Shares, and Bitwise. Not financial advice, but I believe that approval is just a matter of time. I mean, think about Bitcoin and Ethereum are approved. We're seeing for Solana, XRP, typically starting off with the top assets. So we have Canary Capital. This is live, even though it says pending, so this just needs to update. And then we have the XRPR, I believe in September, the Rex Osprey XRP ETF. So today we have over $128 million in assets under management. But personally, the Canary Capital XRP ETF to me is a lot more legitimate. It's trading on the NASDAQ. It's direct spot exposure to XRP. Rather than XRPR, which is like, I believe the prospectus said something along the lines of investing 80% of its net assets. So it's not truly, direct exposure like the Canary one. Alright, next up, in full disclosure, my voice is already gone, so bear with me. But we have Monad, the mainnet, is finally set to launch, and I've been waiting for this for what feels like a year. If you guys have seen my previous videos going over Monad. So we have the mainnet that is set to launch on November 24th. What's even better is they're actually going to be offering the pre-sale right on Coinbase on, I believe, November 17th. So full disclosure, I have never been paid and I am not being paid to talk about Monad. This is just a project I'm looking at, thinking about how Sui did very well. Now, Sui back in the day, they were very active, I believe, with airdrops. They had liquidity going on, a good amount of funding. So I'm definitely keeping tabs on Monad as well, with over 10,000 TPS. And of course, EVM compatibility. So for anybody that wants to check this out, I did retweet this by Coinbase, the full details about the Monad token sale. So if you're interested, you can read more about it, do your own research, and as always, not financial advice, but I have USTC ready to buy some Monad at launch during the pre-sale. Alright, next up, we have iTrustCapital listing Dash right on their platform. So here we have Dash on the right, and we have Zcash on the left. Now Zcash, I'm not buying anything when its monthly RSI is over 70, even if it runs higher, that momentum is absolutely insane, and we can see that the price did extremely well since that point, over 1400%. Ever since that monthly RSI, so on the monthly time frame, every single candle is a 1 month period. So this is the big chart, the macro big picture view. Now we know that Barry Silbert years ago of Digital Currency Group had some really high price predictions for Zcash. And this is not financial advice. I probably shouldn't line up Zcash next to Dash, but I just wanted to highlight the difference and similarities of the monthly RSI or its momentum. And both have been doing really well. Obviously, Zcash with the momentum much higher, but just looking at even the return since this large monthly candle, even wicking up there over 500%, and right now around 230%. Now, funny enough, the own developers over at Dash, I don't believe they actually consider Dash to be a privacy token, but as a retail investor, I've always kind of compartmentalized it with Monero and Zcash, even though its privacy features are optional. But I just wanted to highlight this because we're in such a weird market today. And for anybody that wants to start a Roth IRA for tax-free growth or a premium custody account, I have iTrustCapital linked in the top of the YouTube video description as well as right at the top of my link tree. And I can happily say that one of the best decisions that I've made in the crypto space was moving my Roth IRA to iTrustCapital back in 2020. Alright, and last but not least, we're going to dive into RWA.xyz and look at some of the new tokenized products available on the XRPL. So first, let me just refresh this page to make sure that we are semi-accurate. We have total RWAs on chain over 36 billion. And as usual, the majority of the RWAs on chain today are private credit, as we can see. Looking at the XRPL, we actually have a new UI or interface showing a couple new categories and they're labeled. So here we have distributed asset value, 131 million. So total value of real-world asset tokens using the blockchain as a distribution layer, enabling on-chain investors to subscribe, hold, and manage assets directly through their own wallets or custodians. So what does this mean? These assets can move, they can be traded or transferred. So these are not locked and these are not restricted. So think of distributed asset value as the total dollar value of RWA tokens that are freely circulating on the XRP ledger. And next, we have isolated asset value at 263 million. So this is the total value of RWA tokens using the blockchain as a record-keeping layer, enhancing transparency, reconciliation, and operational efficiency without enabling on-chain investor transfer or distribution. So think of isolated asset value as RWA tokens that exist on the XRP ledger, but they are isolated. So they are locked, they are restricted, and they're not freely transferable. So this isn't necessarily part of the open circulation. It's usually tied to custody, compliance rules, and they can only move within a specific application or system. And to no surprise, we have the stablecoin market cap up over 44% in the last 30 days at 410 million. We can see that we have 47 RWAs on the XRPL today. And usually you can easily keep tabs on this. You don't have to check it every single day, but you can come back to it every week or so to look at any 30% change. So we have the Ripple US dollar up over 100%, and the market cap of the Ripple US dollar stablecoin is over $1 billion. We have others that are growing, and then really Mercado Bitcoin is one of the newer ones that I've seen officially listed under platforms. So when we scroll down, we can see that we do have some Mercado Bitcoin ones listed right here under private credit. Now, if we go back to this Cointelegraph article that came out in July, we had Mercado Bitcoin announcing tokenization of 200 million in RWAs on the XRP ledger. So they announced this back in July, tokenizing $200 million in RWAs on the XRPL, and we can see that total RWAs on chain back in July was just under 25 billion. And just a few months later, we are at $36 billion on chain. So that growth, 36 billion compared to even say 24 or 25 billion, that is over 40% growth. To me, that's a really big deal. Now, I know that the majority of that is private credit. It's not the exciting use cases quite yet, but we are getting there. Now, looking at Mercado Bitcoin, it's the largest crypto exchange in Brazil and the largest issuer of digital fixed income in Latin America. They set up the first digital investment bank in Brazil. We can see down below that they are building on multiple networks. So we have building on Polygon, Plume, Ethereum, the XRP Ledger, and XDC. Now we're already well aware of the big predictions by BCG every few years. We can see that RWAs for the tokenized market predicted to swell to $19 trillion in market cap by 2033. The deal came amid a concerted effort from the crypto industry and asset managers to create regulatory clarity for tokenized equities and other RWAs in the United States as companies expand their tokenized offerings and integrate tokenized asset trading into their existing platforms. This right here is absolutely what we are waiting for, regulatory clarity for tokenized equities and other RWAs in the United States. So we know this year we got the Genius Act for a federal framework for stablecoins in the United States. Check, but that is just step one. We have custody growing, we have different compliance platforms, but we need regulatory clarity for institutional money to confidently flood in. So I hope that makes sense. Related to the tokenization opportunity, we absolutely need regulatory clarity. I know that we're sick of talking about it. We're sick of waiting for, more RWAs to flood in. We're sick of waiting for the approval of spot ETFs, but it is happening every single day. And BCG saying right here that tokenization of real-world assets is projected to grow from approximately $600 billion this year to nearly $19 trillion by 2033. That's huge. We have MB, or Mercado Bitcoin, the Latin American exchange based in Brazil, is already among the world's top 5 tokenizers of private credit assets. We have a quote from the managing director for Latin America over at Ripple. We have MB's integration with the XRP ledger shows how public blockchain infrastructure is being trusted by institutions and is becoming a reliable foundation for bringing regulated financial products to the market. So keep in mind, every single project and pilot and test that you see is important. It serves as a foundation. We'll finish up with this. So we know, looking at the block, the ETF tracker for Bitcoin, we already have a number of spot ETFs that have been alive for a while. Same thing for Ethereum. So when we sort by spot, we already have a good number right there. And then we go to Solana. I'm not sure if this is accurate and up to date, but we can see that we already do have that staking ETF right there by Bitwise. We already went through XRP, same thing for Litecoin with Canary, their Litecoin ETF. I've yet to see HBAR. We have Doge. Now, when I go to other, I actually don't see HBAR's ETF listed quite yet. And when I search HBAR right here, I actually don't see anything, even when I click Hedera. And thinking logically about spot ETFs in the crypto space, they're going to start with legitimate ones that are compliant, that are building, and usually those in the top 10 or maybe even the top 30 on CoinMarketCap. We're already seeing them, and we're going to continue to see more, especially for other assets, even in the top 100. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button and let me know your thoughts down below. You can find all links to my crypto resources, including tools for charting, trading bots, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts right in my link tree in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.